Around 20,000 years ago, this area was covered by the Cordilleran ice sheet. It was so heavy that the ground beneath it was pushed down 275 feet. Woolly mammoths and mastodons roamed this area, and later, as the glacier melted and retreated, people moved up to the open land. Here we have the koi pond. Let's see if there's any koi that we can see. Oh, right there. The natives who lived in now the Seattle area were the Duwamish, and the people who specifically lived in this area, Rainier Beach, were the people of the lake. They were and still are deeply connected to the land and water that they live off of, and have always and will continue to protect the land and water that is essential to life in the Pacific Northwest. Kubota Gardens was originally founded by Fujitaro Kubota, a Japanese immigrant from the island of Shikotoku. He and his wife had one daughter and two sons after they came to Seattle, when they left their first daughter behind in Japan. When they came to Seattle, he found work managing hotels and apartment buildings in the International District. During the recession that followed the end of World War I, Kubota lost all of his buildings, except for the apartment that he and his family lived in. He took on gardening as a hobby and found that he enjoyed the work, and in 1923, he founded Kubota Gardening Company. Even though racism against people of Asian descent was very high, Kubota's garden and his company was thriving, and Seattle was introduced to the styles of Japanese gardening. With the help of a realtor in the name of a friend, Kubota used all of the family's funds to buy 5 acres of lopped-off swampland near Rainier Beach. He had to use someone else's name to get around the laws that prevented Asians from owning land. His whole family worked there, draining the swamp, moving dirt from ponds to form hills, and cutting trails through the land. During the Great Depression, he had to shut down his gardening business, but his family continued to build the Japanese garden. In 1936, business began to pick up again, and Kubota managed to double the size of the garden with a goal of one day making it 20 acres. On March 12, 1942, Kubota, his wife, and one son and daughter were forced to move to Minidoka. The second son was in the military. Even in the camp, Kubota managed to make life better by planting trees and gardens for shade. In 1945, the Kubotas were allowed to return to their homes. He had managed to rent out their house, but the garden remained untouched, so the family spent weeks weeding plants, cutting the grass, and clogging the ponds. Kubota reopened his gardening business, but shifted it to gardening design and construction. Using the garden to grow plants for on-site jobs, he grew pine, yew, birch, cypress, spruce, oak, and more. Old customers came back, including Seattle University, who appreciated his skill at moving grown-up trees into the establishment, giving it a more mature look. He also worked on the Bloedel Reserve, which was created on Bainbridge Island in 1960. It's also very pretty, so I highly recommend you go look at it too. In 1962, Kubota built Mountainside, which rises 62 feet, with ponds and waterfalls. Later, a moonbeam platform and a moon bridge was added. The garden could be used for public events, and is especially used by the Japanese American community. In 1952, laws changed and Fujitaro Kubota could become a U.S. citizen. In 1966, Kubota could now own the garden. And in 1973, Japan awarded Kubota the 5th class order of the Sacred Treasure for achievement in his adopted country and for introducing and building respect for Japanese garden and culture. Fujitaro Kubota died in 1973. In 1981, 4.5 acres of the 20-acre garden was declared a city landmark. But developers had their eyes on the rest of the land. A 268-unit housing development won the site approval, but this spurred old clients, gardeners, designers, neighbors, artists, and the Japanese community to press the city to buy the gardens. In 1987, the city of Seattle acquired the rest of the 20 acres of the Kubota Garden for the people of Seattle. And in 1989, the Kubota Garden Foundation was established to support the garden. Today, people come here to see the natural beauty, relax, and enjoy the scenery. Here are the 3 questions. 1. How many children did Kubota have? 2. How many acres was the original garden? And 3. Why was Kubota awarded the 5th class Order of the Sacred Treasure? Also, by the way, this is the other koi pond. And here are the answers. 1. Kubota had 4 total children, 2 daughters and 2 sons. 2. Kubota's garden originally was 5 acres. And 3. He was awarded the 5th class Order of the Sacred Treasure because something along the lines of introducing Japanese gardening and help bridging the gap between the 2 cultures. Kubota Gardens is already a really beautiful place, and I don't think there really is much that can be done to help improve it. If anything, just the tiny details, like there's a little bit of Himalayan blackberry, and the gravel paths and the parking lot could maybe use some maintenance, but really, there isn't much. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you come to visit Kubota Garden soon.